it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you for joining me again today. I am a UK independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I am bringing you another of the Inspire Create Challenge projects. So you will know, if you've been watching me for any time, that I am a member of the design team for the Inspire Create Challenge group. All the information about this time's challenge, we do them every 2 weeks, is in my blog post, which is linked immediately below. But today we are doing a sketch challenge. So it's a very simple sketch. It's great for all occasions. And I thought it would be a great idea to share a few technique tips with you using this sketch. So, simple sketch. It's just a mat with a strip across at the bottom. Now you can change it up, you can turn it over, you can do all sorts of things. It's just a jumping off point. I'm using the dies that go with the Merry Christmas to all, so the Merry Christmas dies, and I've used the Happy. I love this set. It's so good for all sorts of occasions, not just Christmas. But I'm also using Balloon Celebration because I want this birthday for the birthday. So I have to thank Jenny Hall, who is a US demonstrator, for the technique that I'm going to show you, which is using your embossing folder as a stamp, in effect. So let's get started. I'm going to be using Blackberry Bliss. I've got a slightly larger mat that I'm going to end up with because I can then trim it down. So Swirls and Whirls embossing folder, and you will know that there are dents and raised bits. So you need to decide which side you're going to use. I want to use the raised bits to get the effect that I'm looking for. So this is the side I'm going to ink, and I'm going to ink it with Versamark. So I'm just coming in with my Versamark ink pad and literally adding Versamark to my embossing folder. Just make sure it's well covered. Pop my lid back on. Then Embossing Buddy, and just add that over the top, because obviously on a dark card in particular, you don't want bits that shouldn't be there. You're not going to get a very, very clean look, but you want it to be as clean as possible. So I'm actually going to put this down onto the dry side and then close this onto it, and then you want to rub it really well. And I'm going to bring in my bone folder to help with this. So you want to rub it really well. It's not going to pick everything up, so don't expect it to be solid, because the way that these are manufactured, they're not actually quite as solid as you think they are. And then, ooh, I can see it's worked. That will obviously need to be wiped just with a wet wipe or your chamois. Silver embossing powder. Let me just grab my piece of card, pop this into my tub, and then I can add embossing powder, and you can begin to see, hopefully, just how effective this is at picking up the swirls and curls. Now, as I say, it's not completely solid, and it's always going to be a little different every time you do it. And by using a slightly larger piece of cardstock than you want, you do get to then have a choice of where you trim it. So there we go. Right. Now, grab my faithful cheese board. Now, I'm not going to clip it, and you'll see that this bit here hasn't embossed terribly well, but I'm not going to clip it. I'm just going to get the spare embossing powder off my board for a start. This, I think, needs a bit of a flick. That's what your floor's for. That's probably a bit better. Right. I'm just going to use the cheese board to protect my work surface. So, heat gun on and warming up. should always use your heat gun when it's hot, not when it's kind of lukewarm. So just give it a little while. And I'm going to come in with my piercing tool to help hold everything in place. And then the magic. I love this. I can never see this enough times. Now obviously it is going to take a while to do this, so I do apologise for the noise. But just to remind you that we've got the Snowflake Showcase, which I'm still calling the Snowcase, which is going live for customers on the 1st of November, my birthday! So if you want that, then do bear that in mind. If you want it earlier, you can always put it into a starter kit and get it straight away. So that's always an option. And if you regularly spend, you know, a reasonable amount on your craft supplies, then frankly that's what you should be doing anyway, because if you just want the discount, perfect. And frankly it's better that you get the discount if that's what sort of money you're spending. On the subject of my birthday, you may remember that I am hoping to hit 5,000 YouTube subscribers by then. As at recording this, we've got about 50 to go, just over. Is that all done? Yes, that looks, yeah, that all looks done and it feels smooth. So yes, if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please, 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 before the 1st of November would be wonderful. Oh, I've got nice wobbly grid paper now. Right, okay, so we're going to trim that down so that the best bits stick out. Now, I've got this bald bit here, so I'm going to want this bottom to be kept so that I can cover it with the paper. Now, I'm going to cut this at my usual second layer mat, which is 5.5 by 3 3/4 inches. So let's do 5.5. So I'm just trimming a teeny weeny bit off, but it's just, as I say, it gives you that little bit of wiggle room on which bits are best. It's only a tiny difference, but so what did I say, 3 3/4, so we need a little bit more, and that's 14 by 9.5 centimetres. All the dimensions, as ever, will be in my all my blog post, which is linked below. So, right, we are so nearly there. So in here I have got my grey granite card base. So that's just going to be added on here. So let us scribble some multi-purpose liquid adhesive on the back. And pop that down so that it is square on our card. And of course, because we've used the multi-purpose liquid adhesive, we have a little bit of wiggle room, and we do like wiggle room. There we go. Right, I'm not going to use liquid adhesive for this, but I have actually got to do some more stamping and some more embossing, and I've just realised I need my clear embossing powder. So this is a little trick, works particularly well if you've got a nice brand new juicy ink pad. So I'm just going to grab my happy birthday sentiment, and a block would be useful. Let's find a block. There we go. Oh, I've got everything set up for another video and I've suddenly realised I've not got any blocks spare. So there we go. Okay, so this is our G block. I only want the birthday bit, so that's fine. And I'm going to have to work really fast for this. So let's grab the trusty cheese board again. Right, so yes, if you've got a nice juicy new ink pad, this works really well. So I'm going to not put that on there, seriously. I'm just going to ink up the birthday bit of the happy birthday from the balloon celebration. And because it's photopolymer, I can see through it. Right, so let's get everything ready to go. I'm not going to worry about using the embossing buddy because I'm going to be using clear embossing powder, but straight down, straight up, and straight into the, just fast enough, straight into the embossing powder. And I don't know if you can see that it has picked up the embossing powder because the ink pad is still nice and new and juicy. You do get just enough time, and I mean just enough time, to pick up your embossing powder. Let me just clean that stamp off. So it's certainly worthwhile having a go at that because it does just extend your stamping a bit, your embossing a bit. I'm looking for the lid. Can't see it for looking. Now, once the embossing powder is on, you do have a little bit more time to fiddle around like I am. So let's pop our piece of paper in, grab our heat tool again, heat it up, and blast that. Very quick, because it's on designer series paper, it takes less time to heat. And I don't know, can you see? I'm hoping you can see that that is all shiny, shiny. It does fade the colour a wee bit, so it's not quite as dark as it would have been had I just stamped it, but it does get that nice piece of bit of shimmer to it. So that's going to go on there. Let me grab my snail, which was on my desk. One of these days I am going to be organised, and I will frighten myself when that happens. Oh, it's because I tidied it up. Should never tidy things up. Right, okay, so snail across the back here. Now you could use tear and tape if you were lucky enough to get fast fuse when we had it on the clearance rack. Then obviously you can use fast fuse. Wouldn't necessarily use the liquid adhesive. You can, just don't go too mad with it. So there is our birthday. Now the happy, I used the dies, as I say, from the Christmas set, and I have die cut. I've done it slightly differently with this one. This was the Tranquil Tide glimmer paper from the Joyous Noel suite, and then 2 layers of soft sea foam. This time I've done 2 layers of Blackberry Bliss because I thought I would see what a difference it makes, and it does actually make quite a difference. I think when we see it actually on the piece of paper, it will look significantly different. And I seem to have a cut in the middle of my sticky. I've used the multi-purpose sheets, which are fantastic when you're doing die cuts, because it means you don't have to put glue on the back, because it just turns everything into a sticker. So I've done 3 layers, so 2 of the Blackberry Bliss and 1 of the Tranquil Tide in the glimmer, and then just pop this on so that it doesn't cover up the the birthday. There we go. And give that a good press. And then the final piece is, I'm going to use some of the, what do we call these? Frosted and clear epoxy dots. So let me use my take a pick tool. And as ever, I'm going to do my 3. So 1 large and 2 small. Just down in the bottom corner there. And that is our finished project. And I think you can see the difference between those 2 happies. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found the technique interesting. As I say, thank you, Jenny Hall, for that. Do hop over to my blog to see all the information. Have a go, enter. It would be such fun to see your ideas using this sketch. thank you very much indeed for watching. As I say, if you don't already subscribe to my channel, that would be fantastic if you could. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've got any questions or comments, either... Why I'm hanging bits off my cardigan. Either leave a comment below or go over to my blog and leave a comment there. You can also subscribe to my blog posts and my newsletter over on my blog. If you need any supplies and you're in the UK, I would be thrilled to welcome you as a customer. I am going for the incentive trip this year big time, so any help you can give me with that would be amazing. But it's quite a stretch, so that would be great if you could. Thank you very much indeed. I hope to see you again soon. Bye!